We're going to go ahead and get started tonight. The group on stage in front of you is the Harrisburg Beginning Band. This is made up of our first-year players. All these instrumentalists you see up here have been studying music for about roughly 9 weeks of the school year. So, of course, what you'll hear from them is, a very beginning sound, but it should be. And I'm very proud of the work they've done. Those of you band parents who are beginning band parents, this is one of your students up here, all I can say is bless your heart. Because I know all too well what they sound like when they first start. But hopefully you have enjoyed how those first squeaks, squawks, and strange sounds have evolved into actual songs that you could almost recognize at first, and then finally be able to recognize now. Because we're awfully proud of the progress. And if you think they've made a lot of progress in the last 9 weeks, you just wait till our next concert. Because we're really going to push them and really do things. But we're going to go ahead and get started with them. We're going to start with a Spanish song that we learned. It's a very short song. It's one of the first things we learned. Teaches them quite a few notes to begin off with. So we're going to begin our beginning band concert with El Toro. Like I said, that first song was El Toro, and we learned that song a few weeks ago, although the percussion, I realized about 2 days ago with the drummers, the percussion section, that I had forgotten to pass it out to them, because their part on that's a little bit easy, and they've been on to more advanced stuff, so they had it for 2 days, and I thought they did good. What we've been doing the last several weeks, and I'm sure some of you were getting concerned after the first 3 or 4, was we were learning how to make a good sound on the instruments. And we're certainly not done with that. I mean, as good as they sound now, and I think for beginners they sound great, they don't sound as good as they're going to. So I know some of you, I even talked to couple parents who were like, well, they've only learned one note. And I was like, yes, but how does it sound? Because we've been working on making that good sound. And then when we finally started moving on into actual moving notes, we were able to create songs with that. The next song we're going to play for you is one we all know. One thing we do when we are doing beginners is we want to play songs that the beginners recognize so they can tell if they were playing it right or not. And it really helps them develop as a musician. The next thing we're going to play for you is a song called Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, that might not be impressive to y'all, but for those of y'all that are beginning band parents, that is very impressive. I'm very proud of it. I'm not going to talk too much longer so we can finish their portion of the concert. The last thing I want to say is, for those of y'all that are beginning band parents, hang in there. And I'm not saying that as a joke. Band can be very trying. It can be very frustrating for student and parent at times. Making a dedication to learning a musical instrument is not an easy task. I myself just started learning a new musical instrument 2 weeks ago. Because even though I know how to play all these instruments, I always like to learn. I really like to learn new things. So I started learning to play guitar. And right now I can tell you, you do not want to hear me play guitar. I've only been doing it for 2 weeks. But I'm better than I was 2 weeks ago because I stay dedicated, I practice every day, and that's the same thing we try to teach to these students. So the first thing I would say to you is if you know for a fact, beginning band or junior band, that you have not been hearing your student practice, you need to hear them practice. And it's not just a matter of whether they know the stuff, because we've got some very smart kids up here. And a lot of them are going to tell you, oh, I don't need to practice because I already know how to play that. And that's true. They might know exactly how to play that. But that's not the point. Number one, they need to stay dedicated to practicing. And number two, music is not just a mental activity, it is also a physical activity. And if they don't repeat what they're learning physically, they will lose it, and it will get worse, not better. So it is essential, even from our most talented player down to our weakest, that every day they are playing their instrument to develop that physical skill as well as that mental skill. So if you have not been hearing them practice at home, I would encourage you to set a definite practice time that will help them out. You know, from this to this time will be your practice time. You'd be amazed, 10 to 20 minutes per day. That's all we ask of them. And I also want to say that we now have a website for the band program. So parents, if you want to check out playing test, they have a playing test. All the players here, beginners, they have a playing test every single day. So if they're telling you that I don't have anything to practice for, they are not being entirely truthful, because they have a test every single day in my class. I think maybe like once every 2 weeks, I'll pick one day where we don't. And even that day, they still need to practice. So 10 to 20 minutes per day, and you'll be amazed. Thank you for coming out for the beginning band concert. We're going to close now with one more children's song these guys have learned, and uses the most amount of notes we've learned. This is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.